Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be assembling my new bike, the Heybike. This is the Cityscape 2.0 and it's an electric bike, and I think it's going to come in handy. It'll be useful for me to take some long adventures on, and I'll try to document them. But we might as well start the documentation today by putting it together. It's 65 pounds. It really doesn't feel all that heavy. There it is. Cool. I'm going to start with the big ones. Okay. And it looks like, there we go. Nice. Disc brakes. This is our little rack. The back. One of the little plastic fenders. Looks like we've got a kickstand. I'm going to leave this cover on for now because this actually is covering up our little screen here. This is our brake light. The nice thing about the electric bikes is that it is a functional rear brake light, so when you actually hit the brakes, it lights up to signal everyone that you're stopping. That's cool. Okay, they give you tools. That's awesome. I will put them to use. Something. Whether it be this, or it just goes in my little junk tool drawer. This to me looks to be the charger. And I should mention, being that this is an electric bike, just like with anything that has a lithium battery in it, which this does, you want to take care of that lithium battery, because it can, if it's not stored properly, if it's not maintained properly, you can have fire, and that is not fun. I know from experience, unfortunately. Like, one of the features I liked about the Heybike is that it didn't have a battery that sits right here above the rear wheel. It didn't have one that sits here, but it's actually encased in the frame. I just think that's a bit of help if there were any type of like explosion or something like that. I just like that little extra sense of security. You can charge it while it's plugged in, or you can remove it and charge it. And it also has a lock that's right here, so people can't just steal your bike if you run into the store. Assembling. So they want us to go right to the front tire. So let's see, and once I do that, they get right into the fenders, but I'd almost rather get right to a kickstand once we put the tire on. Say, let's go tire, let's go kickstand. Is your hub stem with your quick release locks that are here. It has the little locks that go into the holes on the rim, the locator, so that this all stays put. One thing I learned about these type of locks, I've been using quick release for a long time. Naturally, you just want to kind of tighten things and make sure that they're tight. But one of the things I've discovered is if you over tighten them, it's going to restrict the wheel from turning. So you actually don't need that much compression. You just need it tight. You just need it firm. You don't need it like tire. It's like a car tire. It doesn't need to be that tight on there and compressed. You'll see the very front, I can see they set this up by sending a bolt there. So that bolt's going to have to come out. That looks like just a simple spacer bolt that they send with it, so that the fenders don't get bent out of shape while shipping. Leave one spring and locator for this side, and then it has the opposite on the other end. So we're going to take those off so that we can slide this in. It actually goes right into there. All right, so I ran into a strange little situation. When I went to put this in, there was just a solid piece of plastic there. So I kind of had to dig it out a little. Because I couldn't put the stem in there. That's just weird. This is their little spacer bolt. I would be willing to say this thing is bent. I'm not crazy about the way that wheel goes in there. It almost looks like it wants to bend the brake disc a little. But that might be adjustable. I'm lucky I was able to get it on. I'll see if I can adjust that as we continue. I'm going to advance to the kickstand. That way I have a little help. I could just take those off by hand. Looks like it goes onto this side. This. Allow this to kick out here. So right here. So we're actually going back to the front fender and the headlight. So it looks like this guy comes out. Kind of get the gist. In. This guy is going to bolt right up to here. This one goes to this side. And now we need our headlight. So it looks like the handlebars are going to go here. What I'm going to do is at least get it set into place so that it's not just flapping all over the place, and I'll just basically somewhat thread it so it can't slide off of there. While that's sitting there, we're going to return to the front and put our light back on, our light on. Okay, so once our headlight's on, we can go back and make sure that this is all tightened up. Now comes our handlebars. So we kind of want to do a little bit of an alignment this way. Oh, I see, yeah. And you also still have the adjustment that is needed this way. So go ahead, let's go ahead and center that, kind of hold it where I want it, and then that would be these two right on top. So now it looks like we're getting into our rear rack and tail light. Then we're going to put the seat on. So the rear rack looks like it attaches by these two screws that are right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove these. This is going to go on this way so that our brake light connects here. This is down by the wheels, and then this is back here by the seat. So we want to go ahead with those. We're going to start with our little guys and the ones at the back. It looks like it goes to the outside of the frame. Now it doesn't really recommend how to align this, but I can tell you what, putting this in, that would get caught in there. But it did come with zip ties. Yep. So it has some zip ties, and I guess what they want you to do is zip tie it here, find a few spots along here that you could zip tie it to. I'll probably go right along the frame, but I wonder if it wouldn't help to be on the outside for starters. So we're going to go the outside of the frame. And you know what? That seems pretty good. Okay, that is on. It says a slight bend. That was easy just to bend it back into place. That worked out pretty good. Moving on to the seat. We're getting close. So the seats, I typically like what I was mentioning earlier about the wheels not going too tight. Well, the seat you want to, because you want to minimize any chance of it moving on you, whereas the wheels, you don't want to restrict them. So yeah, I'm going to do this with a little bit of force. There we go. That's on. Yep. Down to the pedals. And they labeled them right and left. Turn clockwise. Keys to the kingdom right here. That is for your battery. There it is. Yeah, that's quite a bit of weight. So one thing I want to point out, I kind of don't like the way that the front disc brakes are distorting this, our brake rotor. So what I believe, we're going to go ahead and we're going to see if we can adjust that, because there is no reason that this should be rubbing the way that it is. That made it difficult to put the tire on. Let's look at the back. And you can see there's space on this side, a little bit on this side, but it's pretty straight. You know, it's one thing that it can be up close to the rotor, but the rotor should not be bending, because it should not flex because it's being forced. So we're not going to ride this thing until we take care of that. Yep, that's what I was thinking. You got to bend this one. So I can see here that these two are adjustment screws, and it looks like there's an opening here so that there is some play. You will be able to get a little bit of movement on our brake just by loosening this. There it went, just relaxed. That's one of those things I wish it would mention in the instructions. It's completely adjustable, but basically if you loosen these first, that's going to give you freedom to put your wheel on. And that's one of the things I didn't have when I was putting this on. So definitely recommend adjusting that. Just loosen it, put your wheel on, let it float to where it needs to be, tighten it up, you're good. Now we're going to take a look at our LCD screen here. That's our little LCD. There we go. Let's turn it on. So, after a bit of struggle here and there, the bike's all assembled and we're ready to go. I've already taken it down some trails, so it's gotten a little dusty and dirty. After struggling to assemble this thing and getting to ride it, I have to say the bike is a lot of fun. It takes a bit of getting used to. It accelerates a little weird. I'm just not used to that. But here we go. We're gonna try it out. Here you can see just after a couple of pedals, it goes. I'm in the first setting right now. The first setting keeps you right around 10 miles an hour. But it jets you off as soon as you start pedaling. So you go from like 0 to 10 right away.
brakes are very nice, and I've ridden it at night, and the headlight is fantastic. Really nice. Lights up the road, you can see the brake light works great. And I like the horn. It's a little annoying, but people could hear you. Thank you. On your left.
Okay,
Thanks.